this is RuVik Education, and today we're going to be beginning with the seventh chapter or Lektion 7, which is Hast du ein Hobby? What does that mean? That means, do you have a hobby? Let's break the title down. So, Hast is have, do is you. We have learned this various times. Ein is a quite with description or quite descriptively we have learned this in the second or third chapter. Hobby is hobby. So hast du ein Hobby? Do you have a hobby? Have you a hobby? So one question which we'll answer later on in the chapter is that many times we use haben. Haben means to have something, and hast also means to have. So what's the difference between the both? And if you haven't really heard the word haben, it's okay, we'll come to that later. Okay, so first let's go ahead and see what Paula and Peter are saying in their dialogues. Hello Peter, hast du ein Hobby? This is Paula. She's saying, hello Peter, do you have a hobby? This is the same as the title. Peter replies, hello Paula. Hello Paula. Ja, ja is yes. Mein Hobby ist tanzen. Now let's kind of break this down, because if someone asks you, what is your hobby? What are you gonna reply? You're gonna reply, mein Hobby ist. That means my hobby is. Is. We have used this multiple times in the previous chapter. So simply, mein Hobby ist. My hobby is. Hast du ein Hobby? If you're gonna ask someone, hast du ein Hobby? And if you're gonna reply, you're gonna say, mein Hobby ist. And then you have to tell about your hobby. So over here, Peter is saying his hobby is dancing. What is that? Tanzen means to dance. Dance. That means he loves to dance. That's his hobby. Tanzen. Was ist dein Hobby? So basically, what's the difference between hast du ein Hobby and was ist dein Hobby? Hast du ein Hobby is basically do you have a hobby kind of, and was ist dein Hobby is what is your hobby? Was is your what, is your is, thine is your, hobby is hobby, and this is have, do you a hobby. So she's asking whether you have a hobby or not, and here he's asking what is your hobby. Okay, then Paula replies, mein Hobby ist schwimmen. Over here, as you can see in this bubble, mein Hobby ist. See, again she's using the same sentence structure. Mein Hobby ist. My hobby is schwimmen. Schwimmen, can you guess what schwimmen means? It's quite similar to swimming. So is it swimming? Yep, swimming and swimming are the English and German versions respectively. So basically, my hobby is schwimmen. My hobby is swimming. So let's go through the whole thing once again, just for a quick recap. So Paula asks, hello Peter, hast du ein Hobby? Peter replies, hallo Paula. Ja, mein Hobby ist tanzen, which is to dance. Was ist dein Hobby? What is your hobby? Paula then replies back, mein Hobby ist schwimmen. So over here, let's say your hobby is not to dance and it is not to swim. So you want to say what your hobby is. So we must know, right? What are the different hobbies? So let's see. If you love to ride bicycles or you like cycling, then your hobby would be Radfahren. Radfahren is basically this cycling, as you can see over here. Radfahren. So if your hobby is Radfahren, which means cycling, then what would you call a bicycle? So the thing you're riding is called Fahrrad. Fahrrad. It's Farad. Rad Farad. So you basically ride a Farad. Farad is your cycle. Okay, so maybe your hobby is not Rad Farad. What if your hobby is to play tennis? So what will you say then? Then you will say, meine Hobby ist Tennis spielen. Spielen is to play. This is a verb. Spielen is a verb. Spielen. It means to play. Tennis spielen. Let's say you like to play football. So you will say Fußball spielen. We'll learn what we say foot in Deutsch or German in the next chapter. And we have already learned Ball already. So Fußball spielen. Okay, next we see Briefmarken sammeln. What does that mean? First of all, Briefmarken is your stamps. Stamps. You know what stamps are? The things you put on post letters and something like that. Briefmarken. Those are your stamps. Sammeln is to collect. This is a verb. This is a verb that means to collect. So let's say, for example, you like to collect. Let's take any random example, balls, such as football, tennis ball, various balls that you see. So you will say, Ich Ball sammeln. Mein Hobby ist. Okay, swimming, we have already seen schwimmen over here. That is Paula's hobby. Maybe your hobby matches with Paula. Next, you see a computers. Of course, maybe you like to play video games. If you like to play video games, then you will say Computer Spiele. Spiele. This is again a verb. Spiele means to play. Computer play. This is what it directly translates to. Uh, it means to play video games. Okay. Next, we see few children doing craft. They're doing handicraft. So the word for handicraft is basteln. Basteln. Simple word. It's a small word. Maybe you might get confused because it's not that direct, but don't get confused. It's really simple. Basteln. And over here we can see this girl is dancing over here. So dancing is tanzen. Tanzen. Maybe you like to tanzen, dance. Dance. Yeah, you're gonna dance today. Okay, that is Peter's hobby as well. So this person is painting. So painting is called malen. Some people like to do art and craft and they also like to paint together. So you can just say, Meine Hobby ist basteln und malen. If you have two hobbies. Let's say for example, this girl is reading over here. So she's reading something. Lesen. Lesen is her hobby. Lesen is to read. This is also a verb. Also a verb. Lesen is also a verb. We'll come to that later. Um. Okay. Next we see this boy. He's playing guitar. So playing a guitar. So spielen will come because he's playing the guitar. And guitar is called guitar. We have learned this. So guitar spielen. And over here, this boy is listening to music. So listening to music. So listening is hören. Hören. There's a umlaut. So don't say hören. No, it's hören. There's a kind of sound because of the umlaut. And it's music hören. So he's listening to music. So it's a verb. Hören is a verb. So we are going to see this little dialogue once again. Over here we have Peter. He's saying, Herr Wilson. Herr is Mr. Learned it before. Herr Wilson, was machen Sie gern? What? Was is what? Machen is to do something. This is a verb. Machen means to do something. Sie. Sie is the formal you. We have learned this before. Do is informal you. Sie is formal you. When you're talking to your elders or you're in a business meeting, if you want to give respect, then you'll use sie. And if someone's younger than you, you will use du. Gern is basically kind of like to like. To like something. Gern. So let's see what is Herr Wilson's response. So his response is Ich trinke gern Tee und spiele gern Gitarre. That means ich is I, trinke is to drink, drink. This is also verb trinken. Trinken is the verb, trinker he is using here. We have learned that there's something called verb conjugation. So that is why we learned it with wohnen in chapter 5. So we learned ish wohna. Wohnen was the verb, but we used ish wohna. Du trinkst. So similarly, we can see one example over here. Here he is asking was machen Sie, right? He is saying machen to do. Z, since he is talking formally, and we learned the verb conjugation form was for Z was machen, and for do it is machst. Wohnen und wohnst. If you do not remember this or do not understand this, it's fine. We'll come to that. We'll come to that in a more detailed manner in the same chapter. So it's fine if you don't understand this. Just understand the meaning right now. A little. Ich trinke means I like to drink. Gern is to like. Tee means I like to drink tea. Und ich spiele gern Gitarre. And play like is gern, guitar is guitar. I like to drink tea and play the guitar. And then he's saying und du. Und is and. I've used it many times. Du, we know it's you. Was magst du gern? So here he's asking was machen Sie gern? He's asking was magst du gern? Why do, sie and machen are changed? Because machen here for Peter, he's using it in for Z conjugation, and Herr Wilson is using it for do conjugation. That is why machen and max, there's a difference. Z is for informal, for big people or for people you're respecting, for elder people, and do is for people who are younger than you. Was Max do gern? Arun. That means this is not Peter, this is Arun now, I guess, because he's saying Arun, not Peter anymore. So yeah, Arun, this is now. So ich lese gern Bücher. So now he's replying. Ich lese. Laser is to read. Right now we just saw over here lesen. That girl was reading a book. Her hobby was lesen. But what do you read? You read a book, na? So, ich lese gern Bücher. Bücher we have learned books. I like to read books. Lesen is a verb also. So, if the L is capital in lesen, it works as a noun. This is very important. Please note this down right now anywhere. If the L is capital, then it works as a noun, and if it is not capital, then it works as a verb. So then the verb conjugation comes into play. What is verb conjugation? We learn in the same chapter itself. Ich lese gern Bücher. Same goes with trinken. Let's say T is capital in trinken. It will always be in the full form, not trinker with the capital T. Capital T, trinken means to drink as a noun. Noun. And if it is trinken with a small t, trinken with a small t, it acts as a verb. And if it acts as a verb, then with ish you will use trinker. With do you will use trinkst, and so on. In the next video, we will come to was machen die Leute gern? What do these people like to do? And we'll read an answer.